I'm being joined by Comrade Daboy Kiabo Warmates, who is a concerned PDP league and Apex leader. He joins me live in the studio to help us make sense of what has become the topic of the day in recent time and in recent days in Rivers State particularly. It's a pleasure to have you join me. Good evening, Comrade, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, let me begin by there were references to the action of taken by Mr. President, based on the declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State. Can we say that what Mr. President is justifiable? Because we saw it in Ekiti, we saw it in Plateau State, we saw it in Borno, we saw it in Oyo. All of these are references that has been made, but many have come out to say that the action and decision of the president is unconstitutional, and also there are those who have said legitimately or unconstitutionally. What is your thought, or how would you assess the judgment or what the president has announced?
You see, I want to say that first, I'm a PDP member, and also I'm from Rivers State. So I'll speak from both sides.
Okay.
No party member will want to accept the fact that there is a state of emergency declared in Rivers State, because Rivers State is a PDP state. So, like it or not, it affects the party. So no member will want to accept that declaration. But also, there is a superior argument, a superior reason to the fact that it will affect PDP, and that is Rivers people. There is a threat on ground, and coincidentally or not, there was a matching action to that threat, which is some militant coming out to say that, threatening that they'll blow up pipeline if the governor is impeached, and so on and so forth. And not too long, there was an explosion in one of the towns and LGA in Rivers State. Considering the importance of Rivers State to this nation, and considering the fact that any issue, any crisis, any unrest in Rivers State will have adverse impact on the national economy, the president used this initiative as a commander-in-chief, looking at the parties that are involved. He said it in his live broadcast that looking at the threat, and he has even intervened, and the parties has not budged to his intervention. So the only way at this point to save this nation and its economic and resources, and ensure that Rivers people are living in a peaceful environment, the president had to exercise his powers, his constitutional powers, which he cited in his live press conference. If not, even the president himself, as a Democrat, I don't think should have declared a state of emergency if he doesn't have a security report that necessitated that declaration to that extent, because we've seen action match threats. So you don't expect the president to fold his arms and watch things degenerate to a point whereby people will be telling him, you would have done this since long ago, and so on and so forth. So if you look at it from one angle, as a Democrat, you will say no, the president shouldn't have gone to that extent of suspending a elected governor. But if you look at it not from the political angle but from the national interest angle, you will see that the president, what he did was for the interest of the nation. And for the peace of the people, the Rivers people. Now you can see the both parties are calm, because it affected both those that are it affected the governor, and also it affected the assembly. Had it been the president suspended the governor and left the assembly members, it would have been a partial thing. Had it been the president suspended the the assembly members and leave the governor, so the governor and leave the assembly members, you say the president is partial, but those are the major actors, and both of them have been asked, as IBB says, step aside, let someone come and ensure that these threats are not being made, does not continue, because it has started, does not continue. So I think looking at it from that angle, the president might not be seen to have acted improperly. That is the way I would like to put it.
So, and you're speaking as a concerned and a patriotic Nigerian, not as an opposition party.
If I'm an opposition party, I'll condemn it totally.
Okay.
Because one, it affects my party. That's number one. But I'm speaking as a patriotic Nigerian. Any attempt, we depend, you believe it or not, we depend on the crude oil that comes from the Niger Delta region. And any violence there will affect our economy. And anything that affects our economy can lead to crisis in this country.
Okay. Because
people are complaining about hunger, people are complaining about living standard. So the president is under pressure already, and this will mount additional pressure that he might not be able to manage. So the only way he feels in his wisdom to forestall that is to come up with this solution that he has come. It might not be the best. People might see it so, but for now as we speak, since that action has been taken, you see some level of calmness, and the threat has almost disappeared, and you see that people are beginning to understand that it shouldn't be all about politics alone. We should also look at it from the angle that if this was allowed to continue, what would have happened to the economy of this nation and to the people of Rivers State?
Okay, so let's look at those, or let's look at the figures who have come out publicly to condemn the decision of Mr. President, thereby suspending the sitting governor of Rivers State. A lot of argument, there is a lot of argument around whether the president have or not the power to, you know, suspend an elected governor.
You see, I will say that the president cited
as much as the constitution of section 305 subsection 5 of the 1999 constitution gave the president to, you know, take action upon which is constituted only if there is imminent danger. So would you justify the declaration that was said, that was made by Mr. President in suspending? Because when we look at
the
this
constitution has already defined it that imminent danger, and the imminent danger has informed the president's decision. You saw the imminent danger. We all heard the threat. And a few days ago, after the threat, we saw the action in Gokan, also local government. And imagine the president does not take this action. That happened in every area, most local government that oil producing in Rivers State. What will happen to the Nigerian economy? It will be a greater disaster. And some of these people are talking today would have blamed the president for not taking this action early enough.
Okay.
So looking at it from the national point of view, you will see that those that are saying that the president wouldn't have gone that far, is the constitution said imminent threat. And there was an imminent threat that has already been activated to the point of action, where a pipeline has been, well, do you know what the government will go through to ensure that it will affect our environment? We have been suffering with the Rivers people, are suffering from a lot of health issues as a result of oil spillage. Now, do you know what that will cause? Imagine it spread around the state, but right now,
Comrade,
with the action of the president, that has been arrested.
Comrade,
yes.
The security that is supposed to guide the oil pipeline, is it not supposed to be federal from the federation?
Yes.
So no, because I had you're making a point, but I had someone this morning who is saying that you know, the vandalization of the oil pipeline wasn't supposed to, FUBARA shouldn't be held responsible because this is a nation's product. So we should hold the Nigerian police should be held responsible, Nigerian Navy should be held responsible, and all that, which is supposed to come
let me
from
give
the
you an
federal
example.
level.
Some people speak, if I just like told you, you see, if a president visits Rivers State, for instance, and anything like the president of this country, His Excellency Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu visit Rivers State, and anything happens to Tinubu in Rivers State, is the governor the whole responsible, and not the security agency? Whether they fail or not, is the governor, is the chief security officer. You like it or not, that is what the constitution that is how the constitution has made it. So that facility is a national asset that is in your domain, and you ought to make sure, in addition to the federal government effort, you ought to make sure that that facility is properly guided. And if it has happened, now, not just because it was blown off, why the governor was involved in all of this is because there was a threat that if the governor is impeached, we are going to blow up, the pipelines. Before now, we've not had such threat. The president did not declare state of emergency. We've had this is spillage. The president, but now there's a threat, and the constitution says imminent threat, and there's an imminent threat, which, in the wisdom of the president, said the governor did not even make any effort when those threats were forthcoming to say, no, please don't go ahead. If you have that intention, please don't do it. And that is what has dragged the governor into this issue, and not just providing security for the pipelines.
All right, viewers, our phone lines are now open for you to call in to join the conversation or share your thoughts with us. Okay, before now we saw the president made attempts and efforts to, bring peace to River State.
Not only the president, my party national chairman, His Excellency Ambassador Maile Adamagu, did a lot to bring about peace. It failed. The president did to bring peace. It failed. The warring faction, the actors in River State, the party PDP was forced to intervene to see how to arrest the situation. The acting national chairman did that, but it failed. It fell on deaf ears.
But they seem to
before it got to the level of the president of this country intervening, that also failed. So that will not let people know that, because people gave the impression PDP did not do anything. That's why an APC president is intervening. No, the party did its best. And we're talking about matured people here.
But there seem to be two different teams. We have the pro-Wike team and the pro-FUBARA team or something. Yes. So I'm trying to understand who are you holding responsible or accountable for? You said your party intervened.
No. I'm not holding anybody responsible. I'm just telling you, my party intervened. The acting national chairman did all his best to intervene before it got to the point.
Did he intervene in a way of bringing peace between the predecessor and the
Yes, before, which other way? He went as far as he invited the governor to come to the party secretariat to meet with the NWC. But the governor did not appear. He wanted to bring peace. There are several steps taken by the acting national chairman to bring peace, to address this Rivers issue. But it failed. The president came into the picture. It also failed. So the president look at it now, there is threat on the ground. If I don't do anything, this nation will suffer. The oil production immediately reduces, it will affect our income. And when our revenue is down, it will lead to we borrowing more, which is not good for the health of the economy of this nation. Right. So the only way is to forestall, and to the best of the president's wisdom. I'm not the president, but I think that was why he did that.
It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Michael. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, please, Michael, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Yeah, my brother that is just speaking now. See, the situation in River is an internal crisis that can be solved within the people of River State.
Okay.
There is no state that does not have their own crisis. One thing I just want some wicked to know that he has an history, and he has built an history in River State. God has used him to be a blessing in River State. Don't turn yourself to be God.
Okay.
President Tinubu is not from River State. He doesn't know what happened within the River people. But he believes in the peace of the country.
Okay.
I want River people to know that this is a slap on all the whole rivers. It's a slap to them. No state that does not have his own crisis. Please, they should come together and restore FUBARA back.
All right.
This is a political crisis that can be settled within themselves. I just want your station for bringing this up on air for discussion.
Okay.
Please, they should come together and see what they can do for all this mess to be eradicated.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and have yourself a wonderful evening. Oshi Osho from Makurdi. Good evening, if I get the name correctly. If you can hear me, good evening. I can hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my dear. Yes, I thank God for this discussion. In fact, I don't know the name of this your guest. I think he really understands what's going on. You see, a lot of sentiments came into the issue in River State. some people that did not even understand how this thing generated, we are just calling wicked. We can be in Abuja and be in Rivers State. How can a governor go and demolish majority House of Assembly and take minority into his government house and be working with him? That is one major thing to destroy democracy. I thank God for somebody like Tinubu. Tinubu is a hero in Nigeria, but Nigerians do not like the truth. If somebody is blunt with the truth, they will hit you. Wike is just too blunt and too straightforward. Okay, look at the revocation in Abuja. Was he sided? Was he siding even his party or anything? You see, okay, of all the ministers in Abuja, who has raised the type of trail that man is blazing? I don't know any of these people, but I am a political watcher and a critical analyst.
Okay.
May God bless all of you for speaking the truth, especially that young man.
All right.
Maybe later I might know his name.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The truth must come out.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Yes. Yes.
Comrade, would you say that the president was biased in his decisions? Was he biased in any way?
Well, if the president, I have told you before that if the president was to be seen to be biased, would have been in a situation whereby the president suspended the governor and left the assembly members, or suspended the assembly members and left the governor. But in this case, those are the parties that are involved in the political crisis and tension in Rivers State. And both of parties were asked to step aside for 6 months. So I don't know why people are saying some people or few persons are saying the president is biased. I don't really see it that way. I don't.
All right. Glad to have you join us on the program. Good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I am Aladayo from Abuja.
All right, please go ahead.
Please, in respect of this crisis, we have to beg Mr. President to please make democracy. We don't want to go to era of Abacha again.
Okay.
Let the president follow the due process in doing things.
Okay.
Because I would not like a situation whereby a whole sitting government will just be quit out in a day. It's never done anywhere.
Okay.
Any state having crisis, Kavara is there, they are killing our soldier every day. No state of emergency was declared. Borno State, as I'm talking to you now, some local governments are in the hand of Boko Haram. They are not carrying army to that place. The innocent people of River State are now sovereign. Abuja here is TINUBU, where they say in Abuja. Please say this, let FUBARA control his state. Okay. The party said the governor is the leader of his state, not a minister.
Okay.
So there's follow the constitution of the party and then that of the national constitution.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
We are all about where things are going on. Many lives have been lost. Many young soldiers have been killed innocently now because of something that doesn't concern them. So please, I am on it for Mr. President to please think of 6 or 8 years and pass. Okay. Today we are talking of Abacha. Today we are talking of Buhari. Today we are talking of Babangida. Very soon now, there will be last president. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. The National Assembly also yesterday during the approval set up a mediation committee comprising of eminent Nigerians to help bring peace to River State. Do you think that will in any way help?
I believe so. Just like you said.
Even after now that you've said that we've seen the attempt made by Mr. President, your party also has in a way gotten involved to resolve the crisis between the political space in Rivers, and that's it seems abortive. Do you think this committee setup would actually, make a difference?
I don't know, but let's see what will come out of the committee, because with the action the president has taken, maybe the both sides will relax and think and see if they want to give peace a chance. And that is what I believe maybe will make the committee to be exceptional, to see how they can achieve something. And there is this Rivers man that I respect, and I respect him because since the crisis started, he has been fair. Fair in the sense that when he appears on media, they will tell him, say this. He will say, no, I'm from Rivers State. The truth remains that I'm working on the background to resolve this crisis. I cannot come and speak against or for anybody.
Okay. And
he has stood his ground. Those are the kind of people that should be part of the committee. I believe the parties will listen to not those that have made comment mostly against the FCT minister, and will expect him to accept them being in a member where there is a resolution. Already he has been seen, or against the government, he has been seen as somebody taking sides. So that is one thing that has aggravated this issue. And also statements being made by some of these leaders, has fueled this issue, this crisis. And I hope that the committee would look at whatever that has been their terms of reference and see how they can talk to the parties involved and see how they can bring peace.
All right. Then you have to. I wanted to. I also would love to understand from your own point of view. Do you think both the successor and the predecessor are willing, will be willing to compromise anything that you think will bring peace to the people of Rivers?
No, I believe that for now.
Do you think they're ready to make any to compromise anything?
No, maybe they might, because they've seen that the president has taken action, so they may consider to, give and take. Policy is all about give and take. It's a game. So maybe they would see that what they are looking from the political angle alone doesn't have that characteristics alone. It also affects the economy. Their political action is affecting the economy, and that is where the president came in from. So maybe they'll look at it and from that angle and say, no, let's give peace a chance and sit down and talk and dialogue and come up with a way forward for this issue. That is what I think.
All right. I would want you to, speak to us and give us a better understanding of what is really going on in your party. As of today, we are aware that there is a court judgment, and though the leadership crisis in PDP seemed to have lingered more than Nigerians expected, and again, there's been court judgment again. So, briefly, give us what really happened. What was the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment today, and regarding the statement of Debo concerning the Supreme Court judgment that was made today?
You see, it is quite unfortunate that at this time of the life of PDP, we have the worst national publicity secretary in our history, in the person of Debo Olunagba. I'm saying that because I was present at the court today. Okay. In fact, I was sitting horizontally facing their lordship, in front of their lordships. And their lordship's judgment did not in any way pronounce Idokoye as the national secretary. In fact, their lordships in their statement describe him as an interloper, meddlesome interloper. Their lordships make clear that the evidence were improperly before the lower court, and they dismiss the majority judgment. At the appeal court division, we had a majority judgment saying that Udokoye is the national secretary, and we have a minority judgment. Their lordship, in fact, they describe it as a perverse judgment, the lower court judgment, and said that the judges would have known that they don't have jurisdiction. Udokoye lawyer was present there. He said that their lordship should what was his word? He said depart from their consistency. Their lordship has constantly maintained that the court does not have jurisdiction over party internal affairs, and that is when it has to do with position of the national. You cannot appoint a national secretary for anybody. Okay. And the court held the appeal of Senator Samuel Ayahu and pronounced him
the national secretary.
By upholding his appeal, he is automatically the national secretary. Okay. But we have a national publicity secretary who has ceased to work for the interests of the party, but working for the interests of his pocket, and goes out to make statement that has not been approved or consented by the NWC. The NWC, in sensitive matters like this, ought to meet. But he just woke up. He has, number one, he has not read the judgment.
Oh.
Number two, because the judgment is not out, the CTC, the certified true copy is not out. Number two, it wasn't in court. So it was, his statement was a hearsay. And let me tell you, if he claimed in his statement, he claimed that there was a resolution by the NWC. Nobody resigned, nobody died for the office to be vacant.
Okay.
So how would there will be resolution from the NWC asking the what is it called, the Southeast Zone to nominate somebody to be appointed? There is no room for that. Once Netanyahu did not resign. Number two, section 47(5) of our constitution did not say, which the Supreme Court affirmed, did not say that you will resign to contest election. It's a discretionary thing. He said may, the word used there was may, or the word used there is may, and they confirmed it. There is discretionary, that you don't need to resign. So Ayo did not resign. He took a leave of absence to go and contest for election. We have instances like presently the Deputy National Publicity Secretary went contested and came back. He lost the primaries and came back to continue his job. We have the former National Treasurer. So you will see that there are some elements of destructive elements in PDP that were not at the beginning of PDP foundational members, that by privilege and godfatherism has occupied some certain positions, and they are using that position for their own interest rather than the party's interest. Otherwise, in a situation like this, the Supreme Court has made pronouncement. If you say the Supreme Court affirmed Idokoyo, on what ground did you go to court? If you have made resolution and the party has picked Idokoyo, why did you go to court? So you see that in recent times, the MPS Debo has been inconsistent and has shown that he doesn't have that capacity to be the MPS of PDP, and maybe a social club, but not PDP. He has failed so woefully, taking sides when it comes to issue of this important Supreme Court judgment, misinterpreting it, creating wrong narrative, which has become contempt of court, because they did not say, their lordship did not say what he stated in his judgment, in his press release. So it's unfortunate when we saw it, we were like, what is wrong? Did he just wake up from sleep? Because it wasn't in court. I was in court. The CTC is not out. So where did he get the judgment? So somebody told him. And that is a big lie. The person the Supreme Court affirmed today is Senator Samuel Inemeka as the National Secretary of PDP until our convention later this year.
All right. Good evening. I'm glad to have you join us on the program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I needed to comment on the River State proclamation.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I want to speak on the area where a lot of people are blaming the governor, that is the one who mastermind all kind of crises in the state. In my own view, I'm seeing that the people who are supposed to speak to the ACT minister are not doing what they need to do. The president is afraid of speaking to him.
Okay.
The party is afraid of speaking to him. So when they now ignore him, they will not make clear statements, and the errand boys go on to ravish the whole city. And nobody is talking. Rather, they will be blaming the government when they know that the constitution of Nigeria is a fair constitution, in that they only have a figure, a chief security of the state, but they never have power to command even a local government vigilante security.
All right.
Police are in charge, and the federal federal government are in charge of everything. So government is just a title that you carry about. You can't do anything. So when the militants are making all kind of trade that go on, there's no offense that will warrant someone to just come down because you got a judgment today. The next day say, I want to impeach you. Instead of saying, let us sit down, build our state, and run together. But their master gave them instruction that even though you impeach him, heaven will not fall. Okay. So they have to demonstrate themselves that heaven can fall. And now they have brought that mistake because the heaven are falling in their state.
Right.
So it's for the minister to have sense and stop talking anyhow.
Okay.
But people are not ready to talk to him. Look at the party that he claims he belongs to. He has brought down the party, speaking and calling people all manner of names, and they have not been able to suspend it. But it is ordinary people like that who suspend the person again and again. So this place of fear that the man is using in the Supreme Court, everybody is afraid. Whatever judgment he wants, that's what he got. The president is afraid to call him one-on-one and say, why not be a minister and leave your state? If they bring him down now from that position as a minister, he won't do all this nonsense because he knows that he does not have power to control police, the armed forces and the armed boat anymore. But because he knows he has the power, that is why he's doing all these things that he's doing, instead for him to bring peace. We also have what we call the peace committee.
Please, could you round up your thoughts to enable others join the conversation?
We're supposed to use them.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much for your contribution. And please, when you call, ensure you don't exceed 60 seconds to enable others join the conversation. Okay, now, still talking about your party. It does look like even the crisis even before the delivered judgment today, which Nigerians are saying this is not, it's not looking like it's ending soon. Now another one is up today. What is your party doing to resolve the crisis in its in its home? Because I will call it a home. And how ready are you?
Let me disagree with you that we don't have crisis in the party.
No,
we just have interest wrangling or some disgruntled members refuse to accept the truth.
And that's
because no, let me tell you something. Somebody, their lordship used a word. They said the improper evaluation of evidence before the court. Somebody forged a document to secure judgment. That's why the Supreme Court judgment justices. I was there. I took note of some of their words. And this one intrigued me. They said improper evaluation of evidence before the court. That was what has put us in this, that brought this issue to this. Number one, that the court ought not to. They would have recourse themselves because they don't have jurisdiction. It's an internal party affairs. That's number one. They said then number two, improper evaluation of evidence before them. So some people are promoting illegality. You went and forged a Congress guideline to secure a judgment because you are desperate to sit in a particular position. And we have said no, that shouldn't happen. The last press conference address, I said if the Supreme Court will go, but if the Supreme Court stay, will remain, because as the time before the Supreme Court judgment, remains. And today, the Supreme Court has confirmed and affirmed the fact that Ayahu is the substantive and authentic National Secretary of PDP. But some people that have been paid or sanctified to distract and destroy PDP will not let it be. That's somebody like the National Publicity Secretary. That's why he went out and made that kind of statement. Because right from time, what are they talking about? They were relying on what is it called, judgment of Enugu and the Appeal Court Division to say Ayahu has gone. Now they've seen that the judgment did not favor them. They said there was a resolution. There was nothing like that. There was nothing like this. Is a man that cannot even present since he became House of Rep. All his tenure could not pass present a bill, could not move a motion for anything for his people. 2 years in the assembly. He just came into PDP from Zenith Labour Party, so he doesn't know what it takes to to maintain a party like PDP. And that's why people like us are saying no, we don't have crisis in PDP. We might have interest wrangling. If you have crisis, we have two national chairmen or many. We only have one national chairman in the person of His Excellency Ambassador Umailia Damago. We only have one national secretary in the person of Senator, most distinguished Senator in Emeka Samuel Ayahu. We only have one NWC, which is led by this excellent gentleman. So where is the crisis? There is no crisis. It's just interest wrangling. That is just it.
So you think some people are being paid to feel the distraction, since you said there is no crisis? So let me
no crisis. Thank you for accepting that.
I just want to. So let me accept. Yes. Let me just accept that holding you by your word, there is no crisis. So, but you think that some people are being funded or being paid to feel the distraction?
Yes.
In PDP.
Like the MPS. They are sensitive matter. As national police, even though you are working, if you are working in an organization,
funding the
DG If you are in an organization, the director of corporate services cannot go and make a press statement without consulting the DG. You are the national publicity secretary. Sensitive matter, you have to consult. If it's so urgent, you have to at least hear the national, communicate with the national chairman. But I can tell you authoritatively, the NWC has not sat. That young, gentleman called Debo has not consulted the national chairman and went to make statements, because some people are giving him paying his bills, so he comes up and say whatever that suits them to keep on being serviced. That is it, nothing more.
Quickly, before we wrap it up, our time is already fast spent. With the lingering distraction, let me borrow your word.
Thank you.
With the lingering distraction in PDP, how ready is PDP? How ready is PDP ahead 2027? Again, secondly, PDP National Secretariat has been invoked by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, who is a member of your party. On several occasions, this same member of your party has come out to say that he's not willing to give this party, peace. So ahead of 2027, how prepared, with all that is happening and all that is going on, how prepared is PDP?
No, PDP is very prepared. I'm assuring you that by this year,
form of alliance or how?
No, not by form of alliance. PDP is very prepared, and by the end of this year, you will see all this interest wrangling will come to an end, and we'll go all out for the 2027 general election. I can assure you of that. And also talking about the FCT minister, that tells you it's impartial, not minding the fact that it's a PDP member. What a shame! In fact, it is PDP members that revoked our property, and that's why all of them deserve to be punished. The FCT minister is not the one; it's PDP leaders. If except you say inclusive, otherwise for 20 years you do not pay a ground rent, and because he's FCT minister and he's a member of PDP, he should hide it. It's a good thing you expose it. In fact, I prefer that you expose it to show that most of those leaders that open their mouth and blab around did not contribute to make sure that we have had national secretaries, we have had national chairmen. What did they do to ensure that we didn't get into this mess? Those leaders are the ones. Our governors, former senators, former NWC members are the ones that revoked our property, and not the FCT minister. If they pay their ground rent, the FCT minister will not have the grounds to revoke it. He did not only revoke our property, over 4,000 properties, and that tells you that the man is working. Number two, is not being partial. If not, he can say, I'm a PDP member, let me hide it, and he will hide it. But I want to say that I want to assure PDP faithful that our property will get it back.
No doubt he's still a PDP member, but is he still a loyal member?
He's a loyal member.
He is.
Yes. You being fair does not mean you're not loyal.
No, it's not regarding to the revocation of the property. I mean, can your party beat its chest and say, yes, some wicked, the FCT minister is still a loyal member of the PDP?
He is. Are you going to say, what is it, this lady that is from Anambra State,
so you think
Ojukwu's wife?
So you think he still protects the interests of your party?
He has no option.
Okay.
He has no option but to protect the interests of the party.
Okay.
If he will not protect the interests of the party, he would have left the party. So him remaining in the party, not just a member of the neck, he has no option but to protect the party. Because yes, interests of the party. And let me clear what one of your callers said. There is no section of our constitution that said the governor is the leader of the party. I want to close on that note.
All right.
Because people are having that wrong impression. In practice, some governors have been giving that concession, but not that they are the leaders of the party. It's not in our constitution.
Okay.
From the beginning to the end, I've read it. There's nothing like that. In fact, the only time the constitution used the word leader was when it was referring to youth leader, woman leader.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Comrade Warmate, for being with me in this studio. It's been a pleasure having you around. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain for today's program. And thank you so much for being with us and sticking around with us. Until we'll come your way some other time next week, I am Messi Emelite. Keep watching Kaftan Television. And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
PDP too now.
And PDP